Algebra 1, 5-6, graphing inequalities in two variables. So far this chapter we've just been using one variable, so we are graphing on a number line. And so now we are going to be graphing on a coordinate plane. So we're going to graph a line, because we have two variables here, an x and a y value. And then we're going to, but these are going to be inequalities, so we're going to be shading and stuff. So before we get really started on this, I want to remind you how to graph a line. Graph a line. We're just going to do a little note over here on the side to remind you. So step 1, get your equation to be y equals mx plus b. There are multiple ways to graph a line, but this is the one I'm going to remind you of. Number 2, plot the y-intercept. And then number 3, use the slope to plot some points. Rewrite it as a fraction before you do so, to plot points. Okay, so this is the way I'm going to suggest you graph a line. There are many ways to do it, but we're going to start here. Okay, we'll start with an example. 3x minus y is less than 2. Okay, so we are not in y equals mx plus b. We're not in slope-intercept form. So let's get this to slope-intercept form. We want y on the left all by itself. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So now I have negative y is less than negative 3x plus 2. Okay, I'm almost there. Now I just need to get this negative out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. Every term needs to be multiplied by negative 1. So that means y is greater than, notice I multiplied by a negative, so I need to switch my sign, positive 3x minus 2. When I distribute that negative 1, I switch both of those signs. Okay, now I'm going to start my graph. Negative 2 is my y-intercept. When x is 0, plug in 0 for x. Negative 2 is my y value. And so that is my y-intercept, negative 2. 0, negative 2. Now I'm going to rewrite my slope as a fraction, 3 over 1. And so these are both positive. So my numerator is positive, so I go up. My denominator is positive, so I go to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then 1 to the right. And then up 3, 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. And there is my line. Now I'm going to just very lightly draw this line because we're going to need to do something to it. Notice how this is not or equals. This is, this expression is not included in my solution. So that means I need to have a dotted line. Put my arrows on each side. So remember, on a number line, we have an open circle when it's not or equals to, and we have a closed circle when it is or equals to, right? And so when it's open, then I have a dotted line. When it's closed, then we have a solid line, and we'll see that a little bit later. Now, the last thing we need to do is we need to shade. So back on a number line, we would shade on one side or the other and draw an arrow. This time we're going to shade. Now, there are a couple ways to figure out how to shade. One is y is greater than this expression. So here's this expression, and y is greater than that. So I can just shade everything that's greater than this expression. Now sometimes that can be a little bit confusing. So here's another way to figure out which side to shade. I'm just going to choose a point. Anywhere that's not on this line, I'm going to choose a point. 0, 0 is a really good one if that's not on the line. So here's 0, 0. I'm going to plug in 0, 0. So if I plug in 0 for y, 0 is greater than 3 times 0, 0 for x, minus 2. So 0 is greater than 3 times 0 is 0. I've got negative 2 left over. Is 0 greater than negative 2? It is. So if this makes sense, yes, then I know 0, 0 is included in my solution, and I can just shade. Well, I don't have to get crazy with the shading, but there we go. There's one example. Let's do another one. We're going to do a few of these before I have you do some U-tries. Let's do this one. X minus 1 is greater than y. All right, I want y by itself. So I'm going to rewrite this, though, because we're already kind of there. So I'm going to rewrite this as y. So y, I'm going to kind of say this backwards so that I get it right. Y is less than x minus 1. Y is less than x minus 1. So notice how this inequality is the same as this inequality. X minus 1 is greater than y, and y is less than x minus 1. All right, if that is too messy for you, you can go through all of the steps to get y over here onto the left. But this way, I think if you just say it out loud, it might be helpful. I'm gonna, my slope here is 1, so that's 1 over 1. I'm gonna go up 1 and to the right 1. Okay, I'm all ready to go. I have everything I need. I'm gonna graph this. My y-intercept is negative 1. There it is, negative 1. When x is 0, y is negative 1. And then I go up 1 to the right 1. There's a point, up 1 to the right 1. And I can do that over and over again as many times as I would like. Up 1 to the right 1. Just a 45-degree angle from the axis. Now, this is not or equals to, so x minus 1 is not included in this inequality. So I'm going to make my line dotted, and y is less than my expression, so I'm going to shade underneath, but I'm going to double check here too. I'm going to plug in 0, 0. If 0, 0, if that does make sense, then I should be shading above it. If it doesn't make sense, then I shade below it. So let's see. If I plug in 0 is less than 0 minus 1, so is 0 less than negative 1? 0 is not less than negative 1. So that means 0, 0 is not included in this solution, so the other side of the line is included in the solution. Let's do one more before I give you a U-try. Y is greater than 1/2 x plus 3. So I'm already in slope-intercept form. So I go to positive 3, 1, 2, 3. My graphs are getting smaller, okay. And then my slope is up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2, 1, 2. Up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2, there we go. And this is not or equals to, so I'm going to have a dotted line again. That goes through there, dotted, dotted, arrows on both ends. Y is greater than this expression, so I'm going to shade above it. I can double check by plugging 0, 0 in, and if I do plug 0, 0 in, I'm going to find that that doesn't make sense. And so I need to shade on the other side of this line. All right, you try one. Negative x plus 5y is less than or equal to 10. Okay, get this into slope-intercept form and then graph it. Okay, go. All right, let's see how you did. I'm going to add x to both sides. 5y is less than or equal to x plus 10. Going to divide by 5. Everything gets divided by 5. Y is less than or equal to 1/5 x plus 2. Okay. Now, oops. Oh no, we're good. Okay, I just wrote the... Okay, we're good. Ready to go. Okay, plus 2. 1, 2 is my y-intercept. So there's my point, 0, 2. And now I'm going to rewrite my slope. It's already a fraction. I'm going to rewrite it here so I can put some arrows on it. Up 1 to the right, 5. Up 1 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 1 to the right, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another point. Now, if you're following along with the notes on the PDF that I included on the website, this was not a negative x. This was a positive x. So your line is actually, if you were following along on the notes included, then your line would be going down like this. But anyway, okay. Now, this is or equals to. So that means I can draw my line here. And I'm going to draw it solid because it is included. Or equals to means my line is going to be included. Y is less than this expression, or less than this line. So I'm going to shade underneath it. And I'm done with that one. All right, we're going to do 3 more U tries and we'll be done with this lesson. So we're going to line these up here. U try. X minus y is less than or equal to 3. Y is less than or equal to 2x minus 3. And y is greater than negative 4x plus 5. All right, so those are your 3 inequalities to graph. Go ahead and pause and get to work on those. Go. Okay, let's see how you guys did with these. All right, I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Oops, subtract x. Negative y is less than or equal to negative x plus 3. And then I need to get this to be positive y, so I need to multiply by negative 1. This all gets multiplied by negative 1. And I need to switch my sign because I multiplied by a negative 1. Y is greater than or equal to positive x minus 3. All right, let's graph this thing. Negative 3 is my y-intercept. My slope is 1 over 1. Up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. And I have or equals to, so my line, or my expression here, is included in the solution. And y is greater than this, so I'm going to shade above. Next one. This is already ready for us. I can just start graphing it. Go to negative 3, 1, 2, 3. That's my y-intercept. If x is 0, then y is going to be negative 3. So now I'm going to rewrite my slope up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1. It's or equals to, so this line here is included. And y is less than, so I shade underneath. And the last one here, oh, this one is already in slope-intercept form as well. So I can just graph it. I've got positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my slope is negative 4 over 1. So I go down 4 to the right 1. Down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. Down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. And this expression is not included, so I have to do a dotted line. And I put my arrows on each side. Y is greater than, So I'm going to shade above, and that is 5-6.